So today we are going to be participating in a yearly tradition that I've had on the channel. We're going to be participating in the Summer Movie Wager. I'm not going to be recapping the rules, I'm just going to put the rules up right now. You're trying to guess the movies that will make the most box office in the US during the summer months, and you get more points from, I think, like number 1 and number 10, and then you have like 3 dark horses, which can be on anywhere in the list, and you'll get 1 point from them. But yeah, I'm going to be participating this year once again. But to begin, I think we should first establish the films that we should be looking at, because most of these films are not gonna be relevant for this. There aren't that many films. It's not as bad as like 2020 and 21, but like there aren't that many films that I would even consider for the list. But I'm gonna begin with picking what I'm gonna actually include in the list. It's probably gonna go over the 10 that is required for the list, but we're gonna cut whatever we need to cut from that list. So let's start here. We're gonna grab The Fall Guy and the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's a terrible title for a film. The Strangers Chapter 1, we're gonna add that. It's probably gonna get cut, but let's see. We got John Krasinski's If. I looked a bit at Babes here. There's always that one summer film that is catered mostly towards like women, and it often gets neglected in these lists, but I'm thinking like this could be one of those. I'm gonna add Babes to the list though, at least the potential ones. What is Back to Black? I haven't heard of that. Oh, it's the Amy Winehouse thing. Okay. Interesting. We'll add that too. We're just pretty much adding anything that looks interesting at this point. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. We're gonna add that. Let's see, the Garfield movie. Let's add that as well. Let's see. Haikyuu, the Dumpster Battle. What is this? No, it's weeaboo shit. We're not gonna... I'm kidding. Not enough of a wide appeal in that, I think. Okay, Inside Out, that's a pretty obvious one to pick here. I think the first one has become somewhat of a classic, so I think people are interested in a sequel. Let's see. Okay, well, this is interesting. We'll add it to the list. I don't think it's gonna stay there, though. I thought that was an M. Night Shyamalan film, to be honest. Kinds of Kindness. Oh, it's the Yorgos Lanthimos. No, there's no way. Like, many of these films look interesting, but I don't think they have, like, wide appeal. What is It Ends With Us? Adapted from the Colleen Hoover novel, Lily overcomes a traumatic childhood to embark on a new life. So, okay, I think this is, like, looking at the... this is like the women's film once again. I don't say that derivatively, by the way. Like, I'm just saying like these are programmed for men and women. Like, I think Mad Max is programmed at men more, even though it's like Furiosa. Well, anyway, let's see. The Bike Riders. I think I've heard about this film. Jeff Nichols. Yeah, this has had a troubled production, if I recall correctly. Not gonna go wide, I think. Blue Lock episode Nagi. I think it's like anime. Yeah, anime. I don't think so. Sorry. Horizon and American Saga. Okay, this is a difficult one because this is not the spin-off of what is it called? Yellowstone. But it's Kevin Costner, and he's going big with this one. Like, he's publishing 2 movies or releasing 2 movies in one summer, and he's going big with this. It's with his own money and stuff like that. So I don't know. It looks interesting. I honestly can't really gauge how much of an interest that has in America. I'm from Finland, and I would say like I wouldn't care about this film, but I don't know if Americans do, so it's difficult. A Quiet Place Day 1. Okay, so I think A Quiet Place has historically done pretty well in these drafts. I think the only thing that's going against this is that this isn't about the family that the first two films have been about, but it's like an origin story for the whole thing. Not an origin story, but I don't know. It looks interesting, but I don't know. I think we should slot at least one horror film for the summer. Let's just add it there. Despicable Me 4 could go on the list. Let's add it. By the way, I should mention, like, I believe that some of these films are actually good. I'm being very cynical about the money aspect of Hollywood and stuff like that, and what like American audiences will be interested in. Not to like say anything negative about these films overall. I'm just trying to be very cynical about the actual, like, how much money these movies will make. For example, Maxine. I'm very excited to see this. I don't think it's gonna make any money, though. That's just facts. Marketing maven Kelly Jones wreaks havoc on launch director Cole Davis's already difficult task. When the White House deems the mission too important to fail, Jones is directed to stage a fake moon landing as a backup. That's an interesting idea, by the way, and it has Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum and Woody Harrelson, and it comes before Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, we're adding it to the list, but I think we're gonna cut it. I think the Twister sequel is in a weird place because, like, I don't think anyone asked for a sequel to Twister from '96. I'm a film buff and I haven't seen the original Twister. It has Glenn Powell and it looks good enough, I guess, but I don't think people are really interested in a film like this. Especially because it's a sequel, it kind of creates this like tension where it feels like you have to see the original before you can see this one. So I don't really see how a wide audience could go see this film. I could be wrong about this. Like, I think disaster movies are in a slot of their own, kind of like people don't really care about that stuff. If it's a disaster film, you just want to see people get sucked up into a Twister, and that's fine enough. You don't need to know anything about the background of that film. Let's add it to the list, but I think we're gonna cut this as soon as possible. Okay. Deadpool and Wolverine. This is pretty self-explanatory, and it has been marketed really well, so I think it's going on the list. We just have to decide where it is going on the list. Harold and the Purple Crayon. It's opening wide. Okay, it's got like Zachary Levi. I think it's children's film. It looks interesting enough. I haven't heard of this film ever though. Like, honestly, the marketing has been kind of slacking and it's coming in August. So that's a problem, I think. Okay, Borderlands, this is the video game adaptation, if I'm correct. Yeah, this is a weird one. I think it's gonna flop hard. I don't know how much people care about Borderlands outside the video games. Yeah, this is a horror film. It's got Dan Stevens, so it's gotta be a horror film. Yeah, let's add it to the list. It's coming way too late in the summer to gain any interest, I think. And actually, Alien Romulus is coming even later. The Alien films have been kind of good box office-wise overall. I think Covenant made like 269 million, I think. But yeah. Let's add Horizon and American Saga here as well. That's actually very difficult because we have a first film and a sequel to it, and we have no idea how much the first one is gonna make, so there's no telling how much the sequel is gonna make. Are people gonna go see like a film and its sequel in the same summer to the movie theater? Is that actually gonna happen though? I don't think so. I don't believe so. People are so clinging about, like, going into the films anyway, going into the theater, I mean. Wow, this is directed by Zoe Kravitz. That's interesting. This looks interesting, but I think it's coming too late in the summer. Yeah, there's no way. I think all of these, like, Kraven the Hunter, especially. Like, these are so late that there isn't really any points in adding these to the list. The Crow is interesting, but it's coming far too late. I actually don't remember when the cutoff is for the summer movie wager. I should actually check that. Okay, the cutoff is way late, so it should have time to grow later on. I don't know, though, like, are people asking for this film, though? I think it's gonna be, like, huge in the emo crowd. Like, the goth kids are gonna love this film, but I don't think outside that it's gonna have much appeal. Kraven the Hunter. It's not even a wide release, though. And this is a Sony film. Actually, now that I'm looking at this list, like, there's a distinct lack of Marvel films from this list. There aren't really that many Marvel films coming out this summer. I think it's just Deadpool, and even that isn't like the traditional Marvel film continuation of something. Marvel is falling like really hard currently, it feels like. Okay, I got 23 films here. So let's just start listing here. What could be the biggest ones? So we get to pick 13, 10 on the main list and 3 as an extra Dark Horse choices. So, okay, what are we gonna pick here? These are in the order of release. I think it's the beginning of the summer, and I think like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a weird one because like I honestly can't gauge how much people are interested in the Apes franchise at this point. It feels like everything has been wrapped up and it has been such a long time after the third one that people really shouldn't be interested in this franchise anymore. But I actually did check the Google Trends for it, and it had far more interest, like Google clicks, than The Fall Guy, for example. We're gonna begin with saying that The Fall Guy is number 1 of the summer. We're gonna actually put it here. I'm gonna change this later on, I think. But let's just get that out of the way. Number 1 would be The Fall Guy because it opens early, it has Ryan Gosling, it's action and romance, so it's kind of like for the guys and the gals, you know. It's got a bit of everything for everyone except children, which brings us to, I think, Inside Out 2. Actually, let's just, no, it's not gonna be the first. No, I'm sorry that this is so confusing, but I'm gonna go, The Fall Guy is gonna be the third film of the summer. Inside Out 2, I have high hopes for this film. I think it's gonna be huge, because like Pixar films are usually pretty huge, but I think there's been a bit of a lull in their success here because they've tried to do like the newer IP stuff, like, you know, Turning Red, and what else has there been, like the Elementals, I think that was like last summer, and that kind of flopped. But I don't know, I think Inside Out 2, like people know that Inside Out, the first film at least, is a classic, and you can bring your children, you can bring adults, other adults you can bring, apparently. So I think people have kind of recognized that the first Inside Out was really something special. And I think Inside Out 2 will kind of cultivate on that. I think the only thing that's holding it back is the, like, lack of Bill Hader this time around. I don't know even if people care about that aspect. It's not like Bill Hader was a huge part of the first film. I honestly don't know if people care about that. I think another thing that's kind of holding it back is that it's kind of serious, you know, a serious topic. It's actually not even like a serious topic. It's like, I think many people don't want to go into the theater thinking that they're gonna cry. I'm not making any sense here. People do that all the time. Maybe I'm just thinking about myself here. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we're preemptively gonna put this in like the 4th slot here. So Inside Out number 1. I think number 2, I have a feeling it's gonna be Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm gonna just put this down and see what it looks like in the end. And I think like the first 4 are pretty easy to guess. Actually, this year not that easy. I think the previous years it has been kind of obvious. There's been like a Avengers Endgame type of movie. This year there really isn't. There isn't anything to fill that slot. Even Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of coming out a bit later into the year. Let's see here. It's coming July 26th. I think it's gonna go high though. I have a feeling. Where was Inside Out 2? Is it how late into the summer is that? Inside Out 2, June 14th. So yeah, it's earlier in the summer. I have high hopes for that. I think it's gonna go like Inside Out 2, and then there's gonna be a lull. I think like The Fall Guy is gonna start big, but I don't think it's gonna grow a lot. I think it's gonna be like, you know, it's a David Leitch film, I think. It's gonna be tonally like kind of sarcastic and stuff like that, and I don't think it's gonna appeal to everyone. I think it's gonna have a very distinct style. It's smart that they added the kind of romance angle to the film, but I don't think it's gonna go big. I don't know if that made any goddamn sense. I'm sorry. We're looking to fill in the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 slots. And I think like number 5 is the hardest one. Like this middle area here is very difficult. Well, actually, let's cut the films that are not gonna be here. I think Cuckoo, no. Borderlands 2, I feel like maybe bottom of the list. Fly Me to the Moon seems interesting, but I don't think it's gonna go big. We're cutting that. Let's see here. It Ends With Us. This is a very difficult one because is the book like huge? I think this is looking like a, what was that film? Not The Goldfinch. It's Where the Crawdads Sing situation, where I think people love the book and they go see the film and they dislike it. So I think we're gonna cut it. The Watchers we're gonna cut too. I think we're looking for a horror film for the summer. I don't think it's gonna be the Cuckoo one, which we already cut because it's coming so late into the summer, and it seems like a weird horror film rather than a fun horror film, if that makes any sense. The Strangers films haven't made that much money, historically at least, so I don't think the interest has like grown in the years since the first film and the second film. I think the second one came out in like 2018. I don't think it's gonna go huge, so we're cutting that. If is an interesting film. There are actually many like children's films here. Like we got If, we got Garfield, we got Despicable Me 4, we got Harold and the Purple Crayon, a lot of those. So I think we're looking at like Inside Out 2 is gonna be the big children's film this summer, I think. Let's just add another one here. What is gonna go big though? Are people like tired of Despicable Me? Holy moly, these are making a lot of money. Jesus Christ. I had no idea. Are people still interested in this? Are children still interested in this is what I should be asking. But the kids aren't going to see like fucking The Fall Guy. So, I don't know. I think we're gonna add it to the list, but it's on a verge of cutting. So, I think I'm gonna switch this up a bit higher than... I don't know. The Fall Guy is such a weird film. Like, I honestly couldn't care about it myself. But I think people do care about Ryan Gosling, especially after Barbie. Okay, let's add Furiosa to the list as well. Actually, how much did Mad Max Fury Road make? It's been almost 10 years also from this film. 380, that's good. And it has Anya Taylor-Joy, so I think people are interested in that, but it's such an action film and it's like weird action. So I don't know if people are really interested in that. And also, you know, Borderlands is releasing in the same summer as Furiosa, which is a weird choice from the Borderlands people because, like, it's kind of the same idea, like raiders and weird humor, and I don't know. I think we're gonna add Furiosa, but we're gonna start adding it to the bottom of the list. Let's put it on 8 here. Do people care about Amy Winehouse in 2024? I don't know. I think the difficult one is these Horizon films. I really do not know if people are interested in these. I think Yellowstone is huge, but I don't really know if people are just gonna go see a random-ass Kevin Costner film. We're definitely missing a horror film here, and I think like Twisters is kinda in that slot. Okay, I slotted these a bit. So if we're looking at like, we still need like 6, 7, 9, and 10, and I'm gonna shuffle these around. But like, if we're looking at like children's films, I think Inside Out 2 is gonna be huge. And Despicable Me 4 is gonna be huge as well, I think. I think more than If and more than the Garfield film and more than Harold and the Purple Crayon. I think Harold and the Purple Crayon is gonna like fall off the list. It's releasing so late into the summer. It's the beginning of August. I think it's not gonna do that well. So I think that leaves the Garfield, if we're gonna add that, and If was very early in the summer. It's in May, so it has a chance. But I just don't know if people are interested in that. Let's add it to the list. Let's slot it in like 7. I think we're gonna have to change that a bit. We're still missing a horror film / a like catastrophe film. You know, something that you go to see in the film theater on a first date or something to get closer to the person you're next to. I think like I love Alien. Alien is one of my favorite films of all time, but I don't think people really care about Alien in 2024, at least if you're not me. So I really do think that Romulus is not gonna do that well. I think Covenant actually did do okay numbers. Let's see here. 240 million. But I don't think it's gonna do that well. Alien Romulus, A Quiet Place. I think we're gonna slot A Quiet Place in here. Even though it's not about the main family, I think it's gonna do okay numbers. Let's see here. It's not gonna do that well though. I think it's like 8. So we would have to raise these up. We have 3 children's films here. The Garfield movie is not gonna fit in. I don't know. Do people care about Garfield? It's so difficult to gauge this. I don't know, man. Okay, what are we missing? So Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, The Fall Guy, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Despicable Me 4. Then there's an open slot. I think Babes is not gonna do that well. It's just an unknown quantity. I don't think Borderlands is gonna do that great. Back to Black could be like Bohemian Rhapsody, but it's Amy Winehouse. It's not Queen, so it's not quite the same thing. These Horizon films are a mystery to me. I think we're gonna have to slot one of them in, potentially. I think actually it's just so unknown that I'm probably gonna slot it in as a dark horse, the first one. I'm not gonna slot the second one at all, because I honestly do not know if people will be interested in this. Alien Romulus is another dark horse, I think. I think we're gonna have to slot in the Garfield movie. Wait a minute, there's 2 more left. Wait a minute, let's just throw this out. Let's put Back to Black over here. I think people are just interested enough in Amy Winehouse that it's gonna be like number 10. Why does that feel weird though? That feels so weird. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know anyone in my generation that cares about Amy Winehouse, honestly. Millennials do not care about Amy Winehouse, I feel like. I don't think Borderlands is gonna make it onto the list either. It feels like I've dissected every one of these films to their like core, and now it feels like nothing fits in anymore. So it will be Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, The Fall Guy, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Despicable Me 4, The Garfield Movie, If, Furiosa, A Mad Max Saga, A Quiet Place Day 1, Back to Black. So once again, what is like missing here is like the definitive like women's film. There isn't a Barbie this year. There isn't a Girls Trip. There isn't a Bridesmaids, something like that. So that's kind of messing me up here. It's a blind spot. I can like see it. Is Back to Black the women's film? I don't know. It doesn't feel like that. Is Furiosa the women's film because it's like a female protagonist? No. It's still action. No. Okay, first of all, we have like... So Inside Out 2, we got Despicable Me 4, the Garfield film, and If. We got 4 children's films. Are children gonna go see 4 different films in one summer? That doesn't seem likely to me. So I think we should cut one of these. I think we should cut one of these. If is such a unknown quantity, although it comes out early in the summer, so it has a chance. The children have to see something early in the summer, so it would make sense in that sense. But there honestly isn't that big of a gap between If and the Garfield film, so I think the Garfield film is gonna eat up the If film. Next up, I think we should slot something here. I truly do not know if people care about Furiosa. It's just such a weird thing. A Quiet Place Day 1, Back to Black. Okay, we need one more film here. So I had A Quiet Place here. Yeah, Day 1. The thing with this A Quiet Place thing is that it feels like a spin-off, and I think everyone kind of can palpably feel it, that it's a spin-off. It doesn't feel like you need to go see it to keep with the story. It just seems like more of like the background. People are gonna probably go see it because it's like scary and stuff like that, but I don't think it's gonna do anything above that. I think Despicable Me could be like one step ahead here. I really do not think people care about the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes anymore. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. How about that? Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine. I have a hint that Deadpool and Wolverine could outperform Inside Out 2. Actually, now that I think about it, Despicable Me 4 is gonna probably outperform The Fall Guy 2. July 3rd. Yeah, it's gonna outperform The Fall Guy. Unless Despicable Me is an old thing. Like, people don't care about that anymore. But I feel like there was the Gentle Minions thing happening with the Rise of Groot, or what was that? Is there gonna be something similar? I think it might be like old hack at this point. I don't know if teenagers care about Despicable Me anymore. It's, you know, it's like, for my generation, it was Ice Age. You know, people just lose interest, and there were like 6 of those films, so I didn't see all of them. Because I honestly got really bored of the concept. Oh, Ryusuke Hamaguchi. Interesting. Bro, this looks like really good. Bro, I fucking love Drive My Car. I love that. Doesn't mean that people are gonna see this one, though. What is Mars Express? Jeremy Perrin. Oh my god, he's made a film? Holy shit, this guy has one of the best like music videos I've ever seen. It's the... this one. He's made a film? Holy moly, that's amazing. That's amazing, actually. Like, I'm so excited. No one's gonna see this, but I'm so excited. I'm definitely gonna go see this. That's fucking cool. I'm so happy that I clicked on that. Okay, back to reality. Okay, what are we gonna slot here? I'm not gonna put Horizon. Okay, let's just put Twisters there. Jesus Christ. Okay, are people gonna go see... Okay, let's put If back. I don't think anyone cares about Twisters. But there's so many children's films here. There's not enough children to go see all of these fucking films. Okay, I'm gonna take a break and think about this list so far. Okay, after considering for a while, I think I've come to the conclusion that If is a bit too high up on the list. There are already so many children's films this summer. I think the adults need something to check out as well. So we're gonna pop If off from here. Back to Black is gonna be 9, I think. And I think If is going to be 10th. if there are like families with children, are they gonna see the same film again and again, or are they actually gonna check new films out? I truly do not know how that's gonna turn out. But yeah, I feel pretty confident about this list so far. So, first up, I should specify we have Inside Out 2. I have big faith in Inside Out's success this summer because the first one is such a classic. Moving back to the list, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. I just suspect that this is gonna be huge because Deadpool is always huge in the summer, and I think like everyone is gonna go check out Deadpool, at least in my generation. It's gonna be like... It's also like the only Marvel film, so it's gotta be pretty high up on the list. Then we have Despicable Me 4, self-explanatory I think. Fall Guy is at the 4th place because it comes out so early and it has Ryan Gosling hot off the Barbie fame. So I have high hopes for the Fall Guy overall. I think it's gonna be too weird tonally to attract major attention, but yeah, I'm putting it there. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I truly don't think people care about the Apes films anymore, but as I checked Google Trends, it's still very high up in the films that people still Google. It's much higher up than The Fall Guy, for example. It's not a Matt Reeves Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes film, so it's not gonna be as good, I think. I don't actually know who is actually like directing this. I just have a hunch about this. Then we have the Garfield film. The Garfield is pretty self-explanatory also, so I feel it's number 6. It's a guessing game at this point. I have no idea. Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. Once again, it's too weird to be higher up, but I think people have just enough interest in Anya Taylor-Joy being a badass, so I think people might check it out. Let's see, A Quiet Place Day 1. Once again, we need a horror film here. I don't think people are gonna go check out Alien Romulus as much as they are going to go check out A Quiet Place Day 1. I really wish that people would go check out Alien Romulus. I want more Alien films. But yeah. Back to Black. I think Amy Winehouse just has enough interest in the culture overall that people are going to be interested in checking out the biopic. I don't personally really care about biopics, and especially musical biopics, but it's not going to be, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody. It's going to be more like Rocket Man, I think, but it's going to be like a sad Rocket Man. Does that make any sense? And 10, it's gonna be If. With my dark horses, I'm gonna put Horizon and American Saga Chapter 1. I truly do not know anything about this film, and it's R-rated apparently, so I don't really know if the Yellowstone audience is gonna be big enough to support this film, especially if it has like a sequel coming out the same summer. I don't know. It doesn't feel like people are gonna go check it out. I might eat my words later. We'll see about that. Alien Romulus and A Quiet Place could be switched here. I think Alien Romulus comes out so late into the summer that I disregarded it in this instance. Yeah, it's in August, whereas A Quiet Place is in June. So I think just A Quiet Place has more time to grow in the culture. So we're gonna go with A Quiet Place instead of Alien Romulus here. I am going to be checking out Alien Romulus, though. I am not going to go see A Quiet Place, but I'm gonna be checking out the new Alien film by Fede Alvarez. But I don't think like audiences really care about that stuff. Borderlands is such a weird thing, and I don't think the franchise is that popular in the first place. Okay, that is my list. I hope this made some sense, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the summer progresses as it goes. Yeah, thanks for watching, I suppose, and participated in this competition at thesummermoviewager.com. It's a yearly tradition of mine. It's very fun to do these lists, and it's a way to really humble yourself and realize that you don't understand the movie-going audiences as well as you think you do. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.